So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
All right, very quick disclaimer. I have been avoiding wanting to talk about Elon Musk's employee Big Balls, but here we are. Because Donald Trump, JD Vance, and the entire media is talking about it, we have to show you guys the meltdowns. So before we start, please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys help this channel, and other people also won't miss these videos if you like the video. Thank you so much. Let us begin.
For some inappropriate posts, the vice president says, bring him back. What do you say?
Well, I don't know about the particular thing, but if the vice president said that, did you say that? I'm with the vice president. Thank you, Peter.
This is why I make these videos, because never in a million years did we ever expect the Vice President of the United States to stick up for somebody called Big Balls on the internet. And by the way, he now goes by Alez. I obviously disagree with some of Alez's posts, but I don't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. We shouldn't reward journalists who try to destroy people ever, so I say bring him back. If he's a bad dude or a terrible member of the team, fire him for that.
He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge, and we looked into his background. And so we found, several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.sexy LLC.
So here's where things get interesting. The media is not showing you guys the other side where Elon Musk exposed the journalist who exposed his entire team. Now, I cannot show you guys who the journalist is. You can go on X and look it up yourself. It's very public, but I don't want to, get involved in all of that. You can go do your own research. But again, Elon is calling this doxing, a criminal offense, and that journalist, according to Elon, is also being funded by USAID.
Look, I think this is absolutely America first. It's needed policy, and it's what people have been asking for years. And honestly, politicians have talked about doing this for a very long time. The only difference is they never do it. You've had presidents from both parties say, I'm going to make the government smaller. I'm going to go in and look at the bureaucracy and make it more efficient. I'm going to trim where I can, trim the fat. No one ever does it. Reports are written, committees meet, people have phone calls, press conferences are held, and nothing ever happens except the government gets larger and larger.
Scott Jennings is so correct. When you go throughout all of American history, especially in the last 30 to 40 years, every single politician says, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut that, and they never seem to do it. And now all of a sudden, when Donald Trump does it, it's like, hold on, whoa, why is this an issue all of a sudden?
And look at this. Among Republican voters specifically, the proportion of people who wanted Elon Musk to have, quote, a lot of influence in the U.S. government, since the election, it has plummeted by 21 points.
Insulting the American public or misleading the American public is probably the biggest reasons as to why MSNBC is losing viewership and why Democrats have lost their elections. When you put the word a lot in your graphic, it is true. A lot of Republicans have lost a little bit of faith in Elon Musk. But what she did not show you is that a majority of Republicans love Elon Musk and love what he's doing because the majority of Americans voted for Donald Trump.
He is the one the American people have chosen to implement his agenda. This is the agenda the American people voted for, that he is asking his staff, his subordinates, his employees to implement. The unelected power in this country is the rogue bureaucracy. USAID is unelected. The FBI that persecuted President Trump for 8 years is unelected. The CIA and those who have laundered intelligence to try to change the foreign policy of the United States are unelected.
Believe it or not, we are going to tie this all the way back to Mr. Big Balls because Democrats are saying people like him and Elon Musk, they are not elected officials. They are unelected officials. Why are they doing all of this work? And Republicans and conservatives are saying, hold on, this is how the system works. We elect the president, and then you have unelected officials among the entire government system who do the work or the policies of the president of the United States. What's the issue here?
Committees meet, people have phone calls, press conferences are held, and nothing ever happens except the government gets larger and larger. Lo and behold, Donald Trump shows up and throws out the sledgehammer, the instrument of destruction, Elon Musk, to actually do it and do it at lightning speed. This is precisely what voters have been demanding. Is he going to break a few eggs along the way? That's fine. They'll have plenty of political latitude to do it because the action is what's wanted by the American people.
Now, things are about to get really serious because now it looks like Doge and the Trump administration wants to audit the Pentagon. And I don't know if you guys remember, the Pentagon seems to almost never, ever, ever pass their audit.
That includes a Pentagon audit, which to the Marines out there, y'all got to figure it out. And we appreciate that. Lean and mean. We are going to focus heavily to ensure that at a bare minimum, by the end of 4 years, the Pentagon passes a clean audit. The American taxpayers deserve that. They deserve to know where their $850 billion go, how it's spent, and make sure it's spent wisely. It used to be that if you called for an audit, somehow you were undermining the department. I believe the exact opposite. I believe we are accountable for every dollar we spend, and every dollar of waste we find or redundancy is a dollar we can invest somewhere else, as President Trump has committed directly to rebuilding our nation's military.
Now, I have heard some mixed opinions about auditing the Pentagon or the Pentagon being as transparent as they're going to be. I've heard that we are going to expose some clandestine operations. I've heard that this is going to be a very bad look for the world, not only the United States. You can leave your comments down below how you feel about all of this, but Scott Jennings did leave an opinion for us to view and listen to.
No matter what agency it is. So yes, I think the party is by and large going to support this. I think the Pentagon is an agency that absolutely should be looked at like any other. I don't want Elon Musk or anyone else going in and saying we need to shrink the size of our military or somehow reduce our national capacity to wage war or defend the nation. But you can't look at a bureaucracy this size and tell me that there is not waste, fraud, and abuse that could be ferreted out if somebody like Elon Musk and his team were willing to go in and do it. Of course they're going to find things. They'll find things in every single agency. And I think the American people are asking for that. And I have no doubt that you could get rid of some waste, fraud, and abuse in the Pentagon and have no impact on our national security whatsoever. And in fact, maybe you might enhance our national security by getting rid of some duplicative bureaucracy or some things where money's being spent on things it shouldn't be spent on, maybe redirect those things to more mission-critical items.
Here's a little insider information into how all of this works, and if you are a veteran, you probably already know this. And by the way, me and Pete Hegseth were both in the same unit. Not together, but we are both former Rakasans from the 101st Airborne. He was infantry, I was a combat engineer, but we have almost the same backgrounds. What I want to say is the U.S. military is a use it or lose it policy. Whenever you go to training, it is vital that you use all of the ammo they give you and you spend all of the money they give you to prove that you need more money to do more training. So because of this, sometimes you spend money on things that are absolutely not mission critical or important. Like I know the Air Force got caught spending like $12,000 on coffee mugs and things like that. I am absolutely sure this is what Doge is going to expose. However, if you are not educated to the process and how the Pentagon has invented this use it or lose it policy, I think the American public, they're going to look at all of this and like, hold on, why are certain units spending money on things? Now, I'm not about to expose what we spent money on, but there were some things that were questionable, and I will leave it at that.
President, I wonder what you make of the criticism from Democrats that these staff reductions, the cuts that Elon Musk and Doge are doing are an unlawful power grab. And is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. Very capable. They know what they're doing. They'll ask questions, and they'll see immediately as somebody gets tongue-tied that they're either crooked or don't know what they're doing. We have very smart people going in. So I've instructed him, go into education, go into military, go into other things as we go along. And they're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste, all of these things. So, but I will pick out a target and I say go in. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. You know, we're a government. We have to be open. And as an open government, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe some high intelligence or something. And I'll do that myself if I have to. But generally speaking, I'll just say go. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
Now, look, whenever Donald Trump talks about the military, he always talks in generalities. He never talks in specifics. But what I want to know is, does Elon have the green light to look into a Delta Force? Is he looking into the 160th SOAR units? These are all clandestine units that have very, very top secret missions, and you need a specific type of security clearance to know about this. And speaking of security clearances, this is a perfect segue.
Actually, and former presidents do not have security clearances. Once you are president, of course, you have access to whatever classified information you would like to have. If you're a former president, unless you had a security clearance before from, say, a previous job in perhaps the FBI or the intelligence community, you do not have a security clearance, but you are entitled to a briefing. And the reason former presidents get briefings is when they go out and give speeches or talk to groups or perhaps have discussions with foreign leaders, they're given some intel on what they can say. And in the case of Jimmy Carter, for example, he received intelligence briefings because he was still going around the world. So he was briefed on things, and then he would come back with things he heard. So that is the reason for former presidents having a security briefings here, though. But as for the security clearance, the people I've talked to, at least just quickly here, believe that is essentially irrelevant. But the daily briefings, that is something President Trump can do. It's what Biden did 4 years ago.
Okay, so here's what's going on so I can give you the direct source, Donald Trump. Essentially, Donald Trump took away Joe Biden's security clearance, and according to him, here is why. There is no need for Joe Biden to continue receiving access to classified information. Therefore, we are immediately revoking Joe Biden's security clearances and stopping his daily intelligence briefings. He set this precedent in 2021 when he instructed the intelligence community to stop the 45th president of the United States, me, from accessing details on national security, a courtesy provided to former presidents. The Hur report revealed that Biden suffers from poor memory and even in his prime could not be trusted with sensitive information. I will always protect our national security. Joe, you're fired. Make America great again.
Line by line. Now let me ask you something, Mr. President. How are you going to review the spending without reviewing the spending? How are you going to audit the spending by an agency without auditing the agency? That's what I mean when I say common sense is illegal in Washington, D.C. That's what Mr. Musk is doing. He's put together a crackerjack team, and they're going through everybody's spending line by line, item by item. And my Democratic colleagues are very, very, very upset. And they've been very eloquent. They've talked about the process, and President Trump's executive order supposedly violates the Constitution. And they've accused Mr. Musk of having conflicts of interest. And so I've heard people say he's sitting over there with a notepad copying down everybody's Social Security number, and he's going to go use it to make money. I mean, people in this town, not just my Democratic colleagues, they're really upset. They've never said anybody question their spending.
And again, I really think it's a very bad strategy to sit there and be super upset and not try to work together. And if Democrats said, you know what, let's look into the spending, or if they acknowledge that some of this is not good, I think they would get way more support. But they've actually become like the laughingstock of our nation right now. And I've played this clip before, but I want to give you guys a reminder. Even CNN is saying, like, what is going on right now with the Democratic Party? Where is the leadership?
We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. Gretchen.
Yes,
So
they need
the
Democrats need a real leader, okay? They need a real leader, which currently does not exist in the Democratic Party. And they have been caught completely flat-footed with the entire Trump presidency for the last 2 weeks. And Elon Musk, I said on CNN months ago that Elon Musk would be the most influential advisor to President Trump, and that is proving to be true, whether you like it or not. But Democrats should have had a plan for this. They knew it was coming. We say this every single night.
2025.
We knew it.
Just talked about.
We knew it. Trump has said all of these things were going to happen. We saw him align with Elon Musk, which may go down as the smartest thing that any presidential candidate has ever done.
And I think this is a good place to stop. If you are still watching this video, I really appreciate it. As a conservative myself, I've been very transparent about this. Yes, there is a bias on this channel, but I can't help but almost feel bad for anyone who's a Democrat. It's very difficult to get an accurate read on how a lot of Democrats or left-leaning media feel because it's almost like their whole personality to hate Donald Trump, but they will never acknowledge how ridiculous the Democratic Party has become. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for the likes and the comments, and we will see you guys later. We still have a lot more work to do.